Why, hello there, Planet Unity. This is going to be like a freeform discussion type thing that we're going to try to do more often to kind of like fill in the gaps when there's not chapters happening. And this one's about the impact of a hiatus on a series, good, bad, shit like that. We're just going to kind of, shoot the shit, talk about that for maybe, 20 minutes to a half hour and see where it goes. So, who wants to start this one off? David, you want to?
Want to take bets beforehand that this turns out longer than 20 to 30 minutes?
I'm going to try to keep it down to 30 minutes, considering I work at 9 a.m.
Okay, so here's a little bit of the bad. And I know you and I have talked about filler on the podcast a lot. And when a hiatus happens or, they catch up in general to the manga, that's when we start getting a lot of the filler. That's what happened a lot with like Naruto and Bleach, and
was there? But that wasn't really a manga going on hiatus situation because Naruto and Bleach didn't really have it. That was more of just the anime.
Technically they caught up to it, and at the time that they caught up to it, it was like it seemed like it was more of like we need to push this out. But I'm using that as like a general here. Like the original Hunter x Hunter is the better one, and that's why I was leading with that.
Yes, that's a good example. Yeah,
that's why I was leading with like that because those are both notoriously bad, filler fucking anime. But the original Hunter x Hunter, the 1993, I believe it was.
No, it was like 99.
99. It caught up to the original, and I'm actually going to edit this up now because you want to dive into this. This chart here has been compiled by fans on Reddit and Wiki and all sorts of other sites.
Oh, my favorite series. It's like looking at a puppy that you love just twitching and dying on the floor.
Yeah. So when we look at this, the 98 and 99, it must have been the 99 for the year. That's when we start seeing, the appears and jump, hiatus, appears and jump, hiatus, appears and jump, hiatus.
Oh, yeah, it really fucking starts compounding on itself.
And then we reach,
because
like...
The 99 anime went up until it stopped right before Greed Island. So it did Phantom Troop, and then they stopped. And then they did an OVA later covering Greed Island.
I believe that's what I sent in the chat a few days ago, that OVA... Is that what that was? Because I'm not familiar with it at all.
I mean, it was exactly, it covered it faithfully. It was just the older style, like the old, like the Yu Yu Hakusho style, like real old anime.
It's really, from what I've heard, it's really good OVA for its time.
Bad. Just like
unlike the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure OVA.
Well, yeah, it wasn't bad at all. You can't compete with Madhouse.
No, and you look at 2007, 2008, and even 2009, the hiatus periods there, leading up to 2011, which oddly enough began the Madhouse adaptation of the anime.
And to tell you why. So 2011 was the big return for Togashi. That was the one where when he came back in 2011, and this is okay. So edit up those 2 wiki posts, David. Remember that I was talking about the chapter. Okay, so you see chapter 290 and chapter 291. You got those up?
Yep.
Okay, so these 2 chapters. Look at the fucking release dates. Go ahead and read those out, David.
Well, they're big enough for the viewer to read, but I will also read them out. December 25th, 2009. And July 4th. 2011.
Oh gosh. So a year and a half, and that was at the time, to my knowledge, that was like the biggest hiatus he went on, right? So like when he came back in 2011, that was before it was like a pattern for him to go on hiatus all the time. So that was like that was why the anime, like that was why Madhouse was like, this is the perfect time to do a reboot of the anime. He'd come back, you know what I mean? They assumed he's gonna keep going. Yeah.
Oh, how woefully wrong they were.
Yeah, luckily, we'll see at that point too, he was balls deep into his biggest arc ever, the Chimera Ant arc.
Exactly, and that sadly, the amount of hiatuses he's taken is due to health reasons, and I do see the point in taking time off, because if you don't realize, for the more casual manga fans, the authors themselves are worked like slaves over there.
Yeah, Oda, for example, has gone on record saying that he gets 4 hours of sleep, and that's the only way he's able to actually like get all of his shit done.
Exactly. It's disturbing how little they actually sleep. They actually eat. I believe it was Oda that had a ashtray upon ashtray upon ashtray upon ashtray on his desk.
I can get that picture up for you to live edit. So Oda, the Cheerio Oda, sort of one. There was a famous thing where Viz of America did this thing where they actually went to like a lot of famous mangaka. They went to their office and they took a picture of their desks and was like, oh, what do all of your favorite manga artists desks look like, right?
Kubo's was slightly tidy.
Kubo's was like OCD neat. Naruto, Kishimoto's was like a bit messy. Like Kishimoto's looked like a normal dude's desk, and then fucking Oda's. Here comes the picture to David here, and then he'll live edit it.
Are you sending it on Discord or are you sending it on Messenger?
Facebook.
Okay.
So yeah, look at there's Oda's desk. Good God, and just take a look at that ashtray in the back, just exploding.
One second here. Let me save it and send it in Discord so I can actually edit it up.
You see his ashtray just exploding with. It's like a fucking Bloomin' Onion from Outback, but with cigarettes.
One second here. But yeah,
it's not the highest quality image, but gets the job done.
Yeah, this one just won't even get a name because I don't want to name it anything depressing on my computer.
Oda is a self-admitted alcoholic, and he smokes like a pack a day. At least last time I checked. I know what I did. This was back in like 2011. I do think he has said multiple times in interviews that he's been trying to quit smoking.
I can tell you from experience, it's a motherfucker to quit from smoking.
Yeah,
quit smoking,
especially with all this he must have.
Yeah. But when they did that, you saw like I believe Togashi's was in there as well.
I don't remember. I think so.
I can't remember exactly, but
that was before I was a fan of Hunter x Hunter. So I'm going to Google Togashi desk. No, it was not.
But I do remember there's a famous one of where he's just.
Yep. Yeah, I'll get you that one.
This is the most ridiculous picture you'll see.
This is Togashi. This is early days Togashi. Real slow. This is before he wrote Hunter x Hunter, to my knowledge. I think this is Yu Yu Hakusho days. This is just him in his messy ass apartment. Oh my! It's just so bad, David. It's in your messages. Oh my gosh, it's worse than your room.
That's saying something, by the way, viewers.
Oh, it's so bad.
But like,
did you live edit that up?
I'm saving it right now.
So yeah, Togashi is one of those like I'm sure you've heard of like the mad genius, right? Like geniuses that are just fucking crazy.
And here it is, live edited up.
And one more thing I want you to live edit up while you're there as well. It's heavily implied that Togashi based that Hunter off of that famous picture when they go into Dune from the one of the admins on Greed Island.
Okay.
Do you remember this chunk here, David?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that he probably based Dune's character off of himself.
I would not be surprised if that was true at this point.
Did you live edit that one up?
I'm saving it right now and live editing it up.
So, yeah, so this is but anyway, so like you look at that and you're thinking like Togashi, he's a dude who's very talented but like very strange, clearly. But some of the best, most talented people are. Do you remember reading Bakuman? Did you ever read Bakuman?
I read a little bit of it. I never finished it. It's semi-to complete.
Yeah. Do you remember the fucking when they introduced that one manga artist that was like crazy talented, but he was also literally crazy?
Yeah.
And they actually made a good point in Bakuman. I'm pretty sure there's a line where it's like you have to be crazy to survive in this industry.
That's really. That explains a lot of, like, even Kodansha and Dark Horse's authors, and we'll get into one of Dark Horse's most famous series here in a little bit. They have to be literally insane in a way to actually work in this industry, because if you look at, especially the ranking system that we've talked about, a lot.
Yeah.
They have to, one, hype a series to insane
it's a
levels.
dog-eat-dog world, it's all about,
hype to extreme levels. They have to sell literally their first volume a certain amount at this point, because by the time the first ranking system's out, they have enough for a volume. Because it's like, what is it, 8 weeks that they actually are behind in the ranking system?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while since I've checked that. But...
And then...
I think you basically have, 10 chapters to make
or break.
Yeah.
And a lot of the authors that we have today that are still serialized, like Ichiro Oda, Yoshihiro Togashi, even Kishimoto when he was still serialized, and, and he technically still is in a way, I believe, somewhat involved in Boruto.
He's going to make I don't remember when he's going to do it, but there was talks of him doing a new series. It'd be a shorter one, but he wanted to do I think he was thinking it was going to be a Western or something. I don't know.
That would be interesting. But those authors have literally said, with some of our slow starts, we would not make it in the modern Jump.
It was Oda, actually, who said that in today's current climate, One Piece would have been axed.
Exactly.
Which is so ironic.
Because it's their best-selling manga at this point.
Yeah, of all time. I remember when it beat Dragon Ball Z.
That was literally a red jerk-off there.
That was 2010. It was right when I was just getting into it, and I was just I can already tell it's better than Dragon Ball Z. So,
but even Dragon Ball Z would probably be axed in the modern climate.
Well, it started off as a weird comedy thing, so it's hard to
It's hard to gauge that.
Yeah.
But stuff like that is why hiatuses, I do believe, are kind of necessary, because you get art like this.
Yeah, are you bringing up the Berserk stuff?
Yeah, you get scenes like this that are so well beloved.
And so over here you have the person who has not read Berserk. One day I'm sure I will, but I'm just looking at this as someone who hasn't read it, looking at the fucking one where they're standing off, and just the detail of the background is so fucking beautiful.
I'll bring that one back up. I'm trying to keep them fluctuating somewhat for the bots.
yeah, or if they're small enough too, should it be okay?
It's definitely framed by the background as well. That's why I placed these in the center. But stuff like this detail, if the authors, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name, didn't take this freaking the hiatus, you would not get this much fucking detail.
There's no way. Yeah, exactly. Someone like Berserk's author, I think that they probably go on hiatus, whoever they are. I think that they probably go on hiatus for an entirely different. Other people do. It's my opinion that they probably go on hiatus specifically to maintain a certain level of quality. They remind me of someone that probably is I refuse to do anything less than my best for this.
And it's very clear in any panel of Berserk. You have some that are slightly less detailed than others, but when it's go time in the series, from even the lesser quality to that go time moment, it's fucking leaps and bounds above anything that's in Jump, because Jump's stuff is, over, artificially produced at this point, to the point where they hand them a rough draft and then they touch everything up, digitally. And
yeah. This is a conversation we had. Sometimes it feels like art can be almost too factory produced. It's it doesn't have any soul in it anymore.
Later Naruto, you could tell was artificially.
Yeah.
It was more so in the end of Shippuden. It was really obvious that they've touched everything up to make it pretty. I would rather have something that's slightly flawed than overly factory produced.
I like the sketchy style. That's why I like Hunter x Hunter's artwork. It's clear, because it's been said multiple times before that Togashi doesn't use editors. He fucking does everything 100% by himself, which is absolutely insane.
I almost feel like at this point, by the end of Hunter x Hunter, he's just going to collapse.
Well, dude, the scary part about, like, with One Piece, I know it'll end. With Hunter x Hunter, I don't know if he'll ever get to the end. I really don't.
It's almost like I've compared it to this a lot, and I know you somewhat agree. It's almost like a Game of Thrones scenario here.
In what way?
Because, he George R.R. Martin keeps putting off the final book, putting off the final book.
Right. And then the show just kind of took it over.
Yeah, the show's just basically taking over. Like, I'll let them write for me.
Instead of, here's what a lot of people have said this too, and I love this idea, right? Like, if Togashi doesn't want to write the fucking manga, he should just go to Madhouse Studio and fucking direct the anime.
I would fucking love that.
Can you imagine? Just turn it into a Code Geass. Make it anime original for the rest of the...
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I love the fact that he, cares more about his health and his series.
I'm glad he's...
But at the same time, it's... And I do agree that hiatuses are a good thing in some certain cases, but at this point, he needs to, hire somebody, either Madhouse or... suck it up and get an editor.
Here's the point. Here's the point I'll make, right? So, with Hunter x Hunter, because I do agree that hiatuses are important, but at the same time, the rate he does them, there's no way he's going to be able to finish the series, unless he literally. And that's why I'm kind of like, with this one here, I'm sitting here like wondering and hoping. Like, every time he comes back, I'm like, maybe this will be the time where he sucks it up and then keeps going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's almost always 10 chapters. Like, it's like he does enough for another volume, and then he leaves.
And by the way, every time a volume releases, it's the number one selling volume.
Number one for like a full month.
It doesn't matter what other volume is out there; it's always number one.
Yeah, it beat One Piece. It beat My Hero Academia.
Here's a point I'm going to make, and this, kind of derails from what we established this, video for. But do you think that series like My Hero Academia, Black Clover, for fuck's sake, Promised Neverland, anything like that would benefit from taking a hiatus?
Yes. I think that, like I said, it's within reason, right? It's always about a happy medium. So, like, what I have proposed in my head, I think this is what they should legitimately do with this magazine, right? I think they should double the amount of series they have, right? So to take the series, double it, and then have each series come out every other week.
That's exactly why I brought up this point.
So it's like, okay, this week you have this chunk of series, right? And then next week, so then everyone has 2 weeks to put out their chapters. Art can be more refined. Art can be more refined. Plot can be more refined. They have more leap, and you have more series, giving more artists and authors chances to make it big. It's win-win.
And see, like I said, that's why I brought that point up, because I know you've brought that up in chat multiple times. Like, they should do that. What would, if you were to do that? If you were the head, editor at Viz, whatever,
well, if you're talking
or Shueisha in the Japanese community, what would you actually do? Would you refine the ranking system, or would you do away with the ranking system?
Well,
because you not only have to produce revenue for one community, technically with those series, you have to produce it for two communities.
I think that the ranking system has to exist, because they do have to somehow know what's popular and what's not. I think they should get a little bit less strict with series. You know what I mean? Like, I think they should give series a bit more time to try to develop itself. Like, here's an example, right? If it's dead last for the 10 weeks, all 10 weeks dead last, then that's probably a sign, okay, fine, cancel it, right? But if it's like in the bottom 5, not dead last, give it a couple more chapters. You know what I mean? like fucking use your head.
Like Barrage, for example.
Barrage was good. Although I don't mind Barrage getting canceled, because that gave us My Hero Academia.
Yeah. Sometimes a cancellation can be a good thing.
Sometimes
a cancellation can create shit.
Sometimes a cancellation can create Black Clover.
I wasn't going to say it. I said it without saying it.
We could have had Hungry Joker.
Hungry Joker was it was going places when it was canceled. That's why I think that's why I have such a hate boner for Black Clover.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess here's one more thing, or another thing I want to bring up when it comes to hiatuses and the good that they can do, right? So we showed you earlier in this video the release date between 290 and 291. It was a year and a half from Christmas of 2009 to July of 2011. So, David, can you bring up the two pages that I sent you from my volumes?
I'm bringing them up one at a time here. This is direct from Red's copy of the volume.
These are volumes that I've bought. So the first one, the wider one, is the end of 290, and then the up and down one is the beginning of 291. Now, if you read Hunter x Hunter, you know that this is arguably the best fight in the entire series and one of the most anticipated fights in the entire series. And Togashi literally decided to take a hiatus as they were about to fight. And I when I learned about, because I got into Hunter x Hunter around the time where he had just finished the Chimera Ant arc in the manga. So luckily I was catching up with the anime. The anime was able to animate, the Chimera Ant arc. It was great. I cannot even imagine waiting. If I was a part of the fandom for that hiatus, it would have been torture. Oh my gosh. Can you think about and look at those two pages? It's literally like, all right, we're fighting, and then a year and a half, and Togashi gets right into it, like Netero lip.
Exactly. It's like, that's one good thing about hiatus.
Well, first is bad. So there's bad and good. There's one is bad because that's just a massive cocktease to your audience, and I can only assume he lost a lot of fans doing that. But the good is that I have a sneaking suspicion that this hiatus wasn't coincidentally timed. I'm pretty sure he's like, oh shit, this is a really anticipated moment. I should break and really plan this out.
Yeah. The good thing about Togashi, and
it became fucking amazing. All right, go ahead.
And the good thing about Togashi is, no matter if he takes a hiatus or not, he is incredibly good at scripting out a plot with those walls of text and very, very well choreographed fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like those walls of text.
Fuck them.
Thurman.
I mean, he has never really complained about it. It just confuses him or goes over his head.
Damn good and well that he glances over that shit because he's got a wall of questions every chapter.
It hurts. But here's the thing. So but with that, there's this interesting phenomenon that I do want to bring up, and it's supply and demand, right? So Hunter x Hunter, and I've noticed this in my head too, Hunter x Hunter becomes more special and more loved in my mind because of its rarity. You know what I mean by that?
The rarity that it actually has a true scaling, true power system. Everything's explained perfectly.
Yes, that is a point. But I mean that, what I meant by that is series that go on hiatus, it's a lot more exciting when it comes back.
As well.
So give it let's compare, remember when the PS3 first came out and there was so little of them that it was like a fucking craze to get them, and then people were it's supply and demand.
Yeah, I was one of those motherfuckers that didn't get one until 3 years later because of that.
Yeah. Or packets of Szechuan sauce that went for $500 on eBay.
Stay tuned for what we do with Szechuan sauce when it comes back.
I guess the big thing I want to bring up is this, I lost. Hold on, wait. Oh yeah, but so because of that rarity of the release, right? Because of the constant hiatuses, when something happens, when a chapter of Hunter x Hunter comes out, I don't read it with I don't take it for granted.
Right.
I hang on every single piece of art, every single word.
Because you never know if it's going to be a one and done, if it's going to be a 10 and done, or if it's going to be just a wall of I'm going to be here this week. I'm going to be here in 3 weeks. Because again, I mean, all of those patterns do exist on the hiatus chart.
Yeah, and I guess here's what I'll end off that top or that subject, or at least that particular part with this. I was talking to remember that weird person in Nintendo server?
Oh god.
But remember, so I was talking to them, their favorite manga was My Hero Academia. My favorite's Hunter x Hunter. And we were kind of having a debate on the pros and cons of each, right? And this person, they actually admitted to me they were like, they even said to me, like, this is them talking. They were like, what I will give Hunter x Hunter is that when something happens in that series, you remember it. There are no points of that series that you don't remember. There are no points where it's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about it. You remember everything that happens. And
when a background character dies, it's even impactful.
Well, I attribute that to how Togashi, through the hiatuses and his writing style, is able to make every single event that happens in that story feel so important. Whereas, in One Piece, as much as I love One Piece, there are plenty of chapters where it's just like, kind of like, this is fun to read, but it's not like earth-shattering. With Hunter x Hunter, every chapter, no matter how little the information, no matter how minor the information, it feels like, oh my gosh, this is huge, added to the wiki.
Yeah, it's like, what I do agree with them. No matter what it is, like when you showed me, like, because I hadn't read the chapter yet, you showed me like the latest power that had been revealed, like
the fucking fairy in the bottle.
Basically. Yeah, the literal Zelda-esque fairy in the bottle.
Except a lot more violent because it kills the person who killed you.
I'm like, holy fucking shit!
So good. So good.
I'm sitting there muffling my screen because I was reading it at like 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah. Well, even
something that, as fucking insane as that, it's like, it's so over the top that you don't expect it, but at the same time, it's like, wait, it's Hunter x Hunter. Of course it's going to be fucking bizarre, and it's going to fucking make sense while it's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, it's even, like, there's things like that, and the fact that, like, in the last couple chapters, you've had Kurapika just, like, casually dropping subtypes of Nen. Like, he was talking about, like,
so much more that was early story is starting to make a lot more sense, because...
Yeah! Like, he's dropping, like, subtypes of, like, different manipulators. Oh, like, you have manipulators that'll full control you. You have manipulators that'll, like, that you won't even know you're under control, but there's, like, suggestion happening. And then there was talking, like, in this recent chapter, did you see I'm assuming you're caught up, David? Not like, the one that came out last week?
Yeah.
So you saw the one where she's, like, fucking goes through the little, like, portal thing?
Yeah. I'm like...
Dude, that was fucking...
That was just fucking like, what?
Well, that must be that's clearly one of their Nen beasts, like, subconsciously doing that.
Yeah. It's just like little shit like that. It's so much more impactful because of this. You never know if you're going to get more
because of the hiatuses and because of how he writes it. Like, again, it's the escalation and de-escalation, right? So like because of how Togashi writes it, where like something like a bullet can still be a threat. He hasn't made them stupidly overpowered, and I like that. But like, I guess the final thing I'll say about like Hunter x Hunter is that like the hiatuses very clearly allow him to come up with some amazing concepts because every time he comes back from a hiatus, some crazy shit happens. Like look at the Hisoka Kurolo fight. I have never seen a more well planned out fight in my life than that fight.
Right.
That shit's crazy. And like even and he's always subverting the genre. Like did you ever see the interview with it? Okay, you just, by the way, spoiler alert if you haven't watched if you haven't seen the Kurolo Hisoka fight in Hunter x Hunter. But like there's this part where fucking David, can you put up a spoiler alert?
1 second here.
And then okay, so what we're gonna do, people, so you don't have to click off this video, David's gonna have this spoiler alert thing live edited up. And then once I'm done talking about the spoilers, he'll take it down and then you can listen again. Okay?
It is not live. I'm going to actually make it a little bit bigger.
Okay, so once it's gone, guys, you can come back. Okay, so in that fight, Kurolo wins. Which, by the way, you, David, specifically remember me at ITT. You remember how I was at ITT. Both of us were at ITT together, the college we went to, when that fight was happening. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, very well.
And do you remember how fucking insistent I was on the fact that Hisoka was going to win?
Yeah. I'm like,
No, don't you even pretend.
I'm like, I
don't remember
was
what
torn.
You were, but I don't.
I was torn, but I knew it was going... I knew in my heart that Hisoka would win. But I was still torn. Mm-hmm. And then when it fucking... ended, I'm like, holy shit.
Well, because like,
these are two amazingly powerful characters, you know, clashing in such a bizarre and insane fucking battle.
Yes!
A fucking head being used as a wrecking ball.
Oh, Volume 34 is coming out in like a couple days. I'm so fucking excited.
And you motherfucker pre-ordered it, didn't you?
Yeah, did you?
No.
Fucking dude, that is a volume. If you're gonna have any volume of Hunter x Hunter,
I'll be getting the entire series. I'm just waiting until I get another bookshelf to put in here.
I recommend the one I got, $20 and it holds 64 manga volumes.
Yeah, I'm just like I need you to send me that link. I'm just gonna fucking order.
Keep the spoiler alert up, by the way, because I'm still gonna be talking about this. Yeah. I hope it's still up. Okay. So
like here's all those bizarre powers, you know, all that is just fucking insane. So I was like, I'm torn, but I knew Hisoka was going to win. So, you know.
Well, here's why I thought Hisoka was going to. I thought Hisoka was going to win because there was a lot of foreshadowing in my mind about it. So, like, there was like the moment in Greed Island where Hisoka looks to Machi and says, "Hey, what would you do hypothetically if I killed Kurolo?" And she was like, "Not going to happen. But if you did, I'd hunt you down myself and kill you." You know. But now I'm seeing this, whereas that one statement can be seen as foreshadowing for both outcomes, because she also says, not going to happen.
Right.
And one more thing that I didn't even consider until now, or not until now, until after the fight, but it's fucking perfect. Retrospect, hindsight, fucking of course Kurolo won. Look at what Kurolo did in the Phantom Troop arc. He fought against 2 Zoldycks and held them off pretty fucking well. And after that fight, it was revealed that he wasn't even trying.
Exactly.
Like, just to remind you what happened. He's fighting against Killua's grandpa and Killua's dad, 2 of the most powerful assassins in the fucking world. And near the end of the fight, Kurolo stands up and he asks Killua's grandpa, he's like, "Hey, who do you think would win in a one-on-one versus me and you?" And then he's just like, and then Killua's grandpa says, "Idiot, me, of course." But then he turns around and says, "Although it'd be different if you actually tried." Like almost in like a snarky way, like pissed off. He was like pissed at him for not actually trying. He could tell. He's like, "You fucking asshole, going soft on us."
Exactly.
So like, he's going soft. He's holding back when he's fighting 2 Zoldyck. So
that's why I was torn.
Yeah, so to me, now, thinking about that, Hisoka was way out of his league. Like, Hisoka's good, but he's not, like, fighting 2 Zoldycks good.
All right, it's like, the way that fight ended made a lot of sense, but at the same time, it hurt me to see Hisoka lose.
And then the one last, now that he's a fucking serial killer, like waiting in the boat, shit. Oh my gosh!
I'm kind of happy that he lost at this point.
Well, it very clearly made him stronger and crazier, and oh my gosh! But like,
I need like a crazed swing panel sometime soon.
Oh, we'll get it soon. Now, one last thing I'll say, and then we'll end the topic off here. And then but this is one thing. Did you ever see the interview with that came out with Togashi after that fight?
No, I did not.
So. It was like a discussion. It was a discussion with Togashi after that fight, and what he said was, because do you remember it near the beginning of that fight? Kurolo has this big long speech to Hisoka, and Kurolo's like, "Listen, man." Like he shows him all his powers. Like Kurolo's like, "I have this power, I have this power, I have this power, I have this, and I'm gonna fucking use them all against you, and I'm gonna win. Are you sure you want to fight me?" You remember that?
Yep.
Like Kurolo is like over and over again. He's like, "Are you absolutely sure you want to fight me, man?" And because Kurolo even says, "I will win 100%," right? And then he wins. And so what Togashi said in this interview was, this is Togashi speaking right now. What I'm about to say, Togashi was like, "I wanted to be the author that made the character that said that they were going to win actually win."
Right. Unlike, characters like Asta.
well, because that's the trope, right? Like you'll have a villain be like, "I will win 100%. No, you won't. I'll defeat you," right?
Right.
And it worked. That fooled me. I was like, "Oh, every fucking sign is telling me Kurolo's gonna win or Kurolo's gonna lose." But like, Togashi took that shit, flipped it. Oh my gosh, so good. So yeah. Any final comments on that before we take down the spoiler warning?
Nope.
All right, take it down.
And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. If you skipped the spoilers, go read Hunter x Hunter so you can come back and listen to that part. So anyway, moving on.
Here's one thing I'm actually going to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like the filler aspect of this. What series do you really think that had filler because of, the actual hiatus period would be better affected by, the modern anime style, the seasonal shit?
Well, yeah. Well, because of seasonal, like, that's not as much of a problem now. Like, One Piece is kind of affected by it because, like, with One Piece, Shonen actually forces him to take a break once a month.
Right.
Which is unprecedented, which shows how much Shonen cares about Oda, because Shonen never makes people take breaks. They actually get pissed when you take breaks. So,
exactly. So
it shows how important Oda is.
Here's one thing I want to bring up, and we've, destroyed, certain series on the channel, in the podcast and in other videos. Here's one thing that, Black Clover has the anime now, and we're actually going to discuss more about this in another video.
See, but that's not even a hiatus situation, because they have hundreds of chapters.
There's one thing I want to bring up. Even if it's seasonal, and even if it's not hiatus-based, it still could be affected by that. The filler aspect. So filler not only, transcends, the hiatus, everything else. It's also, seems like it's dependent on the studio. So if you look, here's why I'm bringing this up. If you look back, if there's any hiatus, affected series and anime that you actually viewed while it was on hiatus, what studio do you think would be the best fit for that? Do you think they would have actually, said, okay, we'll halt production on this and shift towards something else? Do you think
I think that's what happened with Noragami, actually, because they were going full speed ahead, season 1, season 2, and then for a while I was like, why is there no season 3? And then I was like, oh, because the manga's stopped.
They still have about 10 to 15 chapters that they could adapt.
Right, but that wouldn't be enough for a whole season.
No. See, that's one reason I was bringing this up. That's why World Trigger's anime ended, I believe, because they caught up to that. So, that's, there's two options that the studios can take here. They can either halt production or they can, create filler. Or, here's what I would prefer, because, it was my idea to incorporate filler into this. I would prefer that they would reach out to the, the author of the series in general and be like, hey, how is this series supposed to end? Or how is this series going to progress from here while you're taking your break? Because we don't want to stop production on it because that costs us money and in turn costs you money.
See, I disagree with that, because the problem with doing that is if the anime ever goes ahead of the manga, then no one's gonna who would ever read the manga. That's, let's be honest here, the anime is like supposed to be one big advertisement for the manga. If the anime is well done, if like let's say Hunter x Hunter was still going as the anime and the anime was like ahead of the manga, no one would fucking read the manga because it's a well done, well animated anime with voice acting and like good fight scenes. Like, so that would kind of, unfortunately, like that, what you're saying would destroy the anime, or excuse me, destroy the manga. They can't really do that because I think there's something fun about reading manga. I enjoy it, but like a lot of the appeal of manga is, I'm reading it before it gets animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But look at some of the series that have ended, or have went on hiatus. It's due to health issues. Let's say the author's health is in too dire straits to actually finish.
Oh, so are you talking like if they could never ever finish
exactly?
It?
Because from what I've understand, like World Trigger's author's really bad off. Togashi's not getting any better.
I mean, Togashi had back surgery, so I'm hoping that makes it so. Because let's be honest here, Togashi actually, I think he is getting better because his hiatuses have been getting shorter and shorter. I
think he's more or less forcing himself to, finish the series as well.
But he did get back. He got surgery. I mean,
that might affect my opinion in the future of like this video. Uh-huh. But I mean, and Oda's not getting any younger. Certain authors in general might never see the end of their series because of their health and how the industry works.
Well, yeah, that's why I think authors should always write down like their fucking plans for the series so that someone could, finish it in the event that they just drop dead. Or I don't think any author would. I don't think any author would ever want to just like leave their series unfinished.
Yeah. So that was why I was, like that option could always be there, and since people like Togashi are so damn stubborn, that's a low-hanging fruit there if he ever gets worse off, or if, say, World Trigger's author.
I have hopes that he's getting better because, he is like I said, he's lowering his hiatus every single time he does. So like the last one, like a couple, like there was like a 2-year one. I remember the really long. I remember when I caught up, it was just as it was going into one of the longest ones. That was it was the 2-year one between like basically before he started the like it was the one where it was like it ended like right before the Dark Continent arc. Remember, like there was that one chapter where it was like Golden Killua separated, and then it was like, all right, Dark Continent shit, here we go, right? And then it was like that was like a 2.5 year one. It was fucking horrible.
That was rough.
yeah, and then after that, there was like a year one, and then there was another year one, and then this last one was a half a year. So I mean, like I think he's maybe weaning himself off of hiatuses. I'm hoping.
We can never really tell either,
What I'm hoping like he does.
Here's the really, really fun parallel between the hiatuses. Every time Hunter x Hunter goes on hiatus, Berserk comes back. Every time Berserk goes on hiatus, Hunter x Hunter comes back.
The fucking Berserk, Tokyo Ghoul Re, and fucking Hunter x Hunter all written by the same person. Here's theory.
Oh, fuck Tokyo Ghoul Re.
Well, apparently it was good. I thought it was really, really good.
It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's so goddamn over the top compared to every other Tokyo Ghoul. It's like, is this even the same series? Is this even the same fucking world? Or is this some parallel fucking dimension shit?
Interesting.
It just feels out of place to me. It's not that it's bad series. It's just that.
Yeah. But yeah. So like, I'm trying to think with this series, or I mean, I'll be curious to see what happens with this chunk of chapters, right? Because like, how many chapters are we into this? Is this week going to be the 5th chapter of this chunk?
I believe this is chapter 5 of this chunk.
Let me check. Hunter x Hunter 3. Yes, it would be the 5th. So that would mean if it's normally if he's going to do what he normally does, like 10, that would mean that we're halfway through our chunk of chapters. I'm going to hope. See, like again, like I just have this. I have a little bit of faith in him. I think maybe eventually he'll fucking keep going. Because like, let's be honest here. There's no way, as an author who is very clearly passionate about the series, because he's passionate about it. He could have easily ended it when Golden Killua left. He could have.
Oh yeah, he could have been like, and we're finished.
It would have been horrible. It would have been shitty. There would have been so many open plot holes and like, or not plot holes, but like things left open, right?
Yeah, there wouldn't have been a Bleach level plot hole.
Yeah, but if he was really that bad off, he could have ended it there. But he chose to create a huge arc and set up huge things with the Dark Continent and all that stuff. So I think that he is passionate about the series, and I think that he probably is getting to the point where he's like, I have to fucking finish this series.
He's like, I
really do have hope that. Go ahead.
He's like, I've literally created a rabid fan base again. Fuck my life. I need to finish this one. I'm not going to, push it off.
I don't think they're that rabid. I mean, I think if there's any fan base that's earned or that's learned patience, it'd be the Hunter x Hunter one.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the fucking Reddit.
Well, the Reddit's just shit posting. When they're gone, they have nothing. When it's fucking on hiatus, there's nothing else.
Exactly. It's just like, yeah, we're going shit post, we're going shit post, we're going shit post, we're going shit post, and you look in Facebook honestly, groups and shit. I think it's like
most of the fans are okay because here's the thing: the fans that have stuck around, because there are plenty of people that just drop it. The fans that stick around are patient people. Very clearly, they have to be.
I mean, I'm not the most patient motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one series I've actually stuck by.
Well, every time it goes on hiatus, there's like a fucking myriad of posts on the Reddit like, this is ridiculous, it's unacceptable, I'm dropping it forever, and everyone's like, good riddance.
Yeah, bye. You know, it's
either good riddance or you'll be back.
It's literally the equivalent of manga heroin.
What was that fucking? There was such a funny post where it was like, someone made a thing like, I'm leaving Hunter x Hunter. It always breaks my heart. And then the top comment was like, no, you'll be back. No one can fuck you like Hunter x Hunter.
It's very true. And here,
I think I remember the last time it went on hiatus, and I did that fucking video where I like to fucking kill myself. Remember that?
Yeah, you were going to the tune of Hurt, and you're like,
yeah.
It's only half a year. And you just threw the knife.
Yeah, exactly. But fucking, what was I gonna say? No, but like, I remember the metaphor I made back then. It's like, Promise Neverland and One Piece are like those two like really supportive friends that are like, stop, don't let her hurt you anymore. She keeps hurting you and breaking your heart. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then every time she comes back, I'm like, fuck you guys.
No one can fuck you like Hunter x Hunter.
She'll come every fucking year, once a year, give you the best sex of your life and leave you hanging.
Must resist urge to joke.
But anyway, any final comments on hiatuses and their impact on the series?
Here's another interesting, somewhat, topic we could discuss on this video. If, authors like, from My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Promised Neverland, any of these new series could take a bit of advice from the authors that actually decide to, value their time, their health, and everything. What do you think they would give them? Would they say that the hiatuses actually hurt their series more than it helps, or would it actually help them more than it hurts? And this is how we'll end the video off.
I think that would depend on what they prioritize, their money or their work.
So literally, it comes down to the channel, theme, passion versus paycheck.
Yeah, dude, everything does in art. I mean, because here's what it is, right? Oda would probably say, but here's the thing: Oda is a fucking never-ending fountain of ideas. He doesn't have to take breaks. He never requests fucking insane. But I think Oda would say, you're fucking. Oda's someone who clearly cares about the fucking continuity and the world building and the lore. You know what I mean? But like someone like Fairy Tail, for example, the guy who writes Fairy Tail, this is a guy who, I don't know if you remember this, he was known for actually writing extra chapters. He would put out 2 chapters a week sometimes. Remember that?
Yeah.
And by the way, the reason he did that was because he didn't want the anime to catch up. He did that so there wouldn't be filler. And as nice as that is, all I'm saying is, if you're able to do that, must not take a lot of effort to write that.
Yeah. And it's very clear by the end of the series.
But I mean, that's the perfect example. Like, so someone like Fairy Tail would say, no, right, it's quantity over quality, or quality.
It's quality over quantity.
Yeah, it's like which one?
Quantity over quality. Yeah, it's like the more you can churn out, the less you can give a shit.
So yeah, you have to find that balance, and I think that. There was a quote, I don't remember which volume it was, but Kishimoto, the Naruto writer, in the beginning of one of, how they always have like the author messages in the beginning of volumes. He was basically talking about how, because we live in a world with like movies that have crazy special effects and shit, like he was kind of like nervous about like comics and like things that are like artist involved, like kind of losing impact because we live in a world with all these like special effects and stuff, right? So basically it was him kind of voicing his concern that like this industry would be less and less pertinent to the world. But then he kind of ended it off by saying like, well, I guess we still have the advantage of quantity and how frequently we release chapters. So please stick with and then he ended off by saying, please stick with manga because we'll always be churning out shit for you. However he worded it. I don't remember how he worded it, but basically it was like, you kind of almost have to have that quantity, otherwise you'll get swept with the other shit, right? Swept away by other shit, I guess.
Yep. See, I'm more of and this is fairly obvious if you look at my shelf. I'm more of a comic guy than, you know, a lot of... I pick and choose my manga very, very, you know... As ironic as it sounds, because if you look at my Manga Rock app, it's fucking filled with shit. But physical-wise, I'm more of a comic
The ones
guy.
that you buy.
Yeah. Physical-wise, I buy more comics than I buy, you know, manga, because...
Heathen.
Well, there's a reason I do that. Because a lot of the
hate Japanese people, you don't want them to thrive.
No, the reason
I'm kidding, by the way.
The reason I stick with comics more and more is because I like to shut my brain off a lot. Because when I don't shut my brain off, it never stops because of my ADHD. Well, so if I can shut my brain off with a comic for 2-3 hours versus, you know, reading...
Well, but there's two separate, that's why I have separate series for each thing, right? I have things I watch or read when I want to shut my brain off. Like, my shut my brain off thing to read is Bleach.
Well, yeah, I mean, you pretty much can with Bleach. That's not Shade Kubo. That's not Shade Kubo.
No, listen, man. Bleach, that's not a bad thing. You have to have shut your brain off shit, right? Bleach is like it's got really pretty art and really awesome, like fun battle scenes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just fun to look at. Like, so that's my shut my brain off series.
My shut my brain off series is Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Because I can shut it off.
Deadpool sometimes has like Deadpool can go from like poop jokes to like actual like really deep jokes.
Yeah. Well, even the deep jokes I can shut my brain off too, because I sound like an elitist here. I'm an intellectual.
Stop.
But the reason I respect, you know, comic authors is because they have to work twice as hard as a manga artist. Because not only are they on one series, some of them are on 7 or 8. And Stan Lee put this really, really, really well. No matter how far we go as a society towards a digital age, someone will always be there to buy comics. Because
fuck yeah.
A comic is like a great pair of boobs. It's there, and it's in your fucking face, and you love them.
Did you come up with that, or is that a quote?
I'm misquoting it, but it's actually a fucking quote from an interview he had with a fucking page, and I'm actually going to try and pull it up.
Said that?
Yes.
What a man. What I do, well, I mean, because I agree, right? Like, when I read Kishimoto had those concerns, I was like, oh, buddy, no. Like, I was like, no, not at all. Like fucking art will never die. People love drawing shit, dude.
Here it is. It was from a panel.
Oh,
it's
great.
Getting live edited up.
But yeah, like, I think, I don't know, like, and there are plenty of shut your brain off manga, dude.
There are. Mine used to be Dragon Ball Z.
Ugh. That one's too much shut your brain off. If you shut your brain off too hard, you'll get into a coma.
You know, I might turn into Black Clover.
Ew, gross, no.
Comics are like boobs. They look great on a computer, but I'd rather hold one in my hand.
Hey, there it is.
Yep. And it's very true, because if you try to read, and this is the same for fucking manga, you try to read it digitally, it's not as good.
It hurts my eyes, too. Like, if I'm fucking reading, if I want to, like, read all day, like, sometimes you have those days where it's like, I'm just going to read fucking manga all day. You do that shit on the, like, digitally, it's going to fuck your eyes up.
Yeah, I have a blue light filter on my phone now for, like, manga, and when I'm doing homework and shit. I turned that function on.
And plus, you know what you can't do? You know what you can't fucking do when you're reading it digitally? You know that thing where, like, I wish I could fucking, like, visually show this. Hold on a second. Can you put GIFs up? Can you live edit GIFs up? I
should be able to.
Okay, here.
And by the way, I was right. It's 54 minutes now.
Fucking whatever, man. It just means we have good chemistry, bruh.
Yeah, but like that's why, you know, I respect the artists, the authors, and everything, and that's why I do believe that these hiatuses.
He respects whammon. It's my favorite meme.
That's it. What can it do these?
The whammon.
I can't wait to get my fucking PewDiePie chair.
Are you actually gonna get the PewDiePie chair?
I'm debating on that.
Dude, $3.99.
$3.99.
$3.99. It just, I bet you it's a pretty goddamn good chair.
Oh, I have no other doubt.
Okay.
Are you sending me that GIF?
I'm fucking trying to fucking find it.
You have a GIF of you flipping through a manga volume, don't you?
No, I don't. I was gonna make one, but it won't let me record a video while I'm on a Discord call, so I found a different.
Another reason I do the comics to shut my brain off is they're a hell of a lot cheaper than a manga volume.
Okay, here, I just sent it in Messenger.
All right.
Okay, so
that's why the green light's on my phone.
So, tell me when that's live edited up. So, my biggest thing when it comes to liking to buy manga physical instead of digital is one, the eye strain, but two, is it up?
No, not yet.
All right, sorry.
Saving
I was hoping to time that right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't time it right with fucking Discord.
Shut the fuck up. It's not Discord.
I have to send it in Discord to actually live edit it up.
I didn't know that. You should have told me and send you in Discord.
I mentioned it multiple times.
Oh, did you? Is it up?
It's coming up. Give me a sec here.
I'm coming up. Well, anyway, okay, well, but yeah. So
this here.
Is it up?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay, this is why I like having physical shit, man. Like, look at that. You can't do that shit in digital. You have to fucking like hold on, click, load, next page, click, load. Like,
and then you gotta deal with the fucking ads and the ads in between pages.
Well, there's that, but like with me, like I like being like if I'm looking for a specific part, right? Like, let's say I'm looking for a part. With physical, I can just be like,
I need volume 13, chapter 5.
It's the same reason I don't actually. It's the same reason I don't buy physical anime. You know, I don't buy like the discs for the anime. I just have Crunchyroll. Because like if I want to relive a certain part, I'm probably just gonna go read it in the manga. Because it's there's no like buffering and finding the timestamp. It's just there. So yeah.
Or you're a heathen like me who has.
But yeah, we should probably let's end this off so we can hit a nice hour. Any final thoughts, David?
Yeah, or 1 second. Or you're a heathen like me who has this first shelf, just sitting there, and it's going to be coming up in a second here.
But yeah, so in closing, for me, it's hiatuses are good and bad. I think they're almost always good for a story because it gives the author kind of a break from the weekly, like, oh shit, I gotta come up with a chapter every fucking week thing. And instead they actually have time to, plot like any other book writer would do,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I know there's games and, actual movies involved in that picture there, but, when you live in an apartment, you have very limited space.
but at the same time, I'm doing my summary for this video, David. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh. Professional. Bruh. All right, but at the same time, it has to be reasonable, right? Like, Togashi's doing too many of them. Very much. Very, very obviously. So, it's hard to say.
People like Oda that don't take enough.
Yeah. Oda should take, like, that man should just take, like, a half a year off and just rest for a bit, man. Like, for real.
I wish I could edit up, like, a voice clip from one of our podcasts.
Oh. Well,
you know exactly what line I'm thinking of? The one that Chris came up with.
Oh, the sucking my dick thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't even in a podcast. That's literally just a voice memo.
That was just a voice memo? I thought we used that for something. Oh, no, we were going to use that for... Were we going to use that for the trailer?
I wanted to put it in something, but I mean, it was basically our buddy Chris from the channel saying, like, Oda's so busy. Like, he doesn't even, like Oda's so busy, he can't even, like, get off of his fucking, like, desk for, like, sex with his wife, so, like, he's just, like, keeps writing One Piece while his wife sucks his dick. So sad, but probably true.
Well, I mean, we found out, in the last, One Piece talk.
Oh, that blows my fucking mind. Apparently,
he married Nami's voice
Oda's married to Nami's voice actress, which, again...
makes perfect sense.
He could literally be like, I can make you say anything with the fucking flick of my wrist. I hold the power.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We said this would be 20, 30 minutes, and it's turned into about an hour now.
Welcome to us.
Yeah,
Us always.
I called it at the beginning of the video.
David, do you want to end off the video with your summary thoughts on the actual topic of the video?
Yeah, here's the issue. And it's going to go over an hour now. Here's the issue that I have with hiatuses. And, while they're a good thing, they're also a bit of a hindrance for the anime community. And then we end up with, series that either end prematurely and then end up getting rebooted, like Full Metal Alchemist for one,
I think that problem is really not a thing anymore. So most anime are fucking seasonal now.
I'm getting to that. But now it might not actually be as much of an issue because of the seasonal format. It just depends on the studio themselves. You could have a Studio Pierrot who, has a series that has 145 chapters of source material, but yet you still find the need to filler in, episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah. I do not understand.
An absurd amount of filler, by the way. Or you could have, studios where, like, Toei, who actually, do filler, somewhat right, because even a scene that's a corner panel in, like, a One Piece chapter turns into an entire episode of, what they theoretically think would happen, almost as if Oda hands them a script, like, this is what that meant, here you go.
Yeah, I know that the One Piece anime actually contacts Oda a lot for stuff like that. Like,
what did this panel mean here?
Well, here's an example, right? So, like, recently there was this thing where
and that's what I was bringing up, like the fodder enemies that were just,
Well, there's that where they legitimately gave names for Big Mom's 35th son, blankety blank, right? Which means that Oda must have said, I'm either going to use this guy later and you can foreshadow him here, or, but the best example is when they were talking about Urouge feeding Commander Snack. In the manga, it didn't show that scene, but in the anime, they decided to actually show it while she was talking about it, and they showed a silhouette of Snack, and recently Snack was introduced in the manga. Way after the anime showed him, and the silhouette matched. So that means they must have asked Oda, and Oda must have given him what he looks like.
Yeah. So stuff like that, that filler aspect of the hiatus, can be done, either properly or very, very poorly. And those are just examples of series that don't really have a hiatus of more than like a week. And then you have, freaking, studios like A1 who, I have my own grudge with for other reasons, that just throw it in randomly or cut entire arcs. And it's like, that'll get touched on in another video.
Dude, we need a David Sword Art Online rant, please.
Oh, god damn it. That may come.
Welcome to Azazel's Den, where I bitch about Sword Art Online not being adapted correct.
It's not just Sword Art Online they fucked up either.
We'll get to it. But anyway.
It's a lot of good productions.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.